Hi everybody, and welcome back to Nellie and Ruth Designs. Today I am going to be working with some oversized, um, these are Butterick, and these are pattern images that have come out of a very large counter pattern book. And I just wanted to have a little bit of fun, so I hope you stick around. This video is actually to help Pam out over at Tattered Paper and Lace. I'm sure there are a lot of you that follow her. She does wonderful collages. And her and I have been direct messaging on Instagram about the vintage pattern books. And she recently purchased one on eBay. She's going to do a flip through. She may have already done it by the time I get this video up. But she sent me a DM today and said that, a lot of her girls were 10 inches plus tall in the book, and she wanted to know if I had any ideas on how to use them. So I want to help Pam out, and I want to help everyone else out in case you do have a pattern book and you're interested in using the images. You know that I'm using them in the crossword puzzle challenge on a weekly basis. I have a lot of smaller ones, and I would like to use them up. They've been hanging around for a long time, and they're just sitting in my drawer collecting dust, and I really like them. So I thought the crossword puzzle challenge would be a fun way to use them up. So I'm not going to use these images here. These are the two images here that I'm going to be working with today. And she's 12 inches, and I think she's 10 or 11 inches. Okay, so they are quite tall. So if you work in a junk journal and you make junk journals, unless you're making a tall, narrow junk journal, which can be done, here is a typical sewing pattern size in here. This is what I think a lot of gals are used to working with. They will buy the vintage patterns and the jackets, and then they cut them apart. So you can see the images are much smaller once you cut them down, and they're very workable. And I can understand why some people, if they have the larger images, it's a little much, because obviously you can't fit them. I mean, if you can fit them, if you want to cut them down, there's no reason why you can't take an image and cut it down to the dress. She would fit in here just fine if you just cut the dress. That doesn't bother me if I don't include their legs and such. But the other thing, Pam, and everyone else that is viewing, I want you to take into consideration, you can scan these images and then you can make them smaller. And that's what I did here. And with my printer, I changed the color just a little bit, okay? This one is yellow, yellow. This one is more. You can see the difference in the color. I changed the color a wee tad bit. I just thought the yellow was kind of bright. So this one here, I cut down, I think this was an 8 by 10 image. And this is a 5 by 7. Okay. These will work really well. We're going to create a collage with these gals here, or at least one of them. And then I have another idea, because this will fit into my journal, my blue and white journal, quite nicely. So I have an idea to use these here. And then I'll be using the larger gals as well. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get all of these gals cut out, and I'm going to pause, step aside, get them cut, and then we will be back to do a little creating. All right, so I have all of the girls cut out. Here are the larger ones. Whoops, sleeves getting caught in everything. Here are the larger ones right here. And then here are the two smaller ones. So we'll set the larger ones aside. And I have just an old piece of craft paper. It might have been a piece of packing paper. And I really like this natural brown feel. I want to use this because I think it just fits the purpose. Can you tell I'm a little tired? This morning, let's see, what is today? Today is Monday, and we're supposed to get 90% chance of rain tomorrow. So this morning I went out. Yesterday I mowed on my rider, and then this morning I had to go out with the hand push, the little hand pusher mower. And that tires me out. It's a very old, heavy mower, gas-powered mower. I broke the, which I didn't know. I've had this mower for 25 years, and it was self-propelled, and I guess I broke it because I just found out the other day that with a self-propelled mower, you can't pull back on it and mow. You have to kind of like bring it up, turn it on its back wheels, and go forward only. So I have no self-propel anymore on this old beast. So I am like pushing it around like a cart with 25 kids on it. And of course, there's lots of hills on my property. So that, it just tires me out. Plus, it was very hot and humid this morning. But I needed to get it done before the next rain comes in. And it's a good thing I did, because about half an hour ago, it was a deluge of water. So I have this old, looks like 1951. I have this old card, credit for week 19 through 25. I don't know, let's see, out cash, credit for week. I have no idea what this is even for. It's interesting though. I don't know. 1951, Roy Singleton. I can't read this. Something, I don't know, card 52. But this is old. I want to use this. And I'm going to make a little, I'm sorry, I've spaced out here. I've just spaced out. I want to make a little journaling card with this. So, and this is just a little piece of ephemera that I thought would be fun to go right on the front. And I'm not going to be using a lot to make this journaling card. And sometimes less is more. I think you've heard me say that before. My father taught me that. Okay, I'm going to put this right about here. Okay. And I did bring it down a little bit from the top. And then what I'm going to do is this here, because I want it to be a journaling card, and this is already journaled on. This is going to go right on here like this, okay? And then I'm going to rip it down a little bit. And I want some of this edge to, I can put this away. I want some of this edge to show around it. And I'm not going to really make it uniform. I want it to be a little funky. And I think it will just give it a little bit more interest to it, instead of just a plain square. rectangular box around it. And if you want to, I guess we could even stitch around this to give it a little bit more interest. So let me get some stitching on this and I'll be right back. There, so I put a little bit of stitching on it. I didn't go overboard with it. I'm going to just let these fly. I'll figure out what we might want to do with them after. I'm not going to ink up the sides, all right? But I think, and I'll probably just clip this in my book. So it's actually a good size, and I think I know what I'm going to put in front of this possibly. I have another idea. So I'm going to take this here. This is a fussy cut that my mom, I found in her stash, and I thought I would use this because I thought that would be very pretty on there. Okay. And then I have this little Botanical Society presentation ticket. I will just add a little bit of oomph to this. Excuse me. And then the blue would look really nice with the lavender. I was going to use the yellow, but I think the blue is more complementary to the Sweet Little Violets. So we're going to use this gal here. And again, it doesn't matter to me that part of her foot is missing. Okay. That is just no biggie for me. And this is the image that I scanned and brought down to 5x7. And I'm going to put her right about here. Okay. And there she is on there. I think she's quite lovely. And then here, we'll get some glue. I should just paint this, in all honesty, with some Mod Podge. And then it would be covered the way it's supposed to be covered. I'm running out of glue here. I just hope that, I hope I have enough in here to finish up. Usually I don't let it get this low. There we go. Maybe it's just clogged. Yeah, I think it was just clogged. Yeah, a little piece in there that was holding it hostage inside the tube. All right, I think that's good. All right, we're going to flip this over. And I'm going to bring this down just about right here. Okay. And that goes right there like that. Okay, and then I'm going to show you what I do when I go to really seal it down. I put a piece of paper. This is my paper, gals. Remember I told you for every time you make a comment, I'm keeping track. And then whoever has the most comments you're going to win a handmade something from me, which I have to start working on. So I put a paper over my fussy cut images so this blade does not get caught under, because if I went like this, I could catch a petal or a flower, and I don't want to do that. And what did I do? Get glue on her leg? I think maybe that might have come off with some glue. I'll just take a colored pencil and I will add a little touch to that. And then I'm going to take this cute little piece up here for the botanical and put this on, and then I'll have a cute little journaling card. I'll put that right there with the X showing. There. And I think what I will do is I will ink around this bag a little bit, and I'm going to want to get my book or something to put towards the edge here. And this is how I take care of a floppy edge when I put my ink pad to it. Then it doesn't really flop all around. And then I guess I'll just turn this a little bit. There. So see how much easier it is when you put it up against a pad or maybe a book. All right, so here is the journaling card, and I think that's really cute. And then that will dry, and I'll be able to journal on the back side. Okay, so now I think the other thing I want to do is dress this up a little bit. I'm going to add a little brad up in the top. And maybe I will I'm going to use this copper color, I think, because of her hair. And I'm just going to add this over in here. Okay. There. And then we have that. Isn't that pretty? Okay, it's very simple. You don't need a lot to make something that's pleasing to the eye. And I'm just going to leave these strings hanging because I think they add a little bit to it as well. Okay. All right, so we have that. We're going to set that aside. Then the next thing I want to do, with the larger ones that you have sized down. So let's see what the size of these are now. So these are, remember, these were 8 by 10. So that's 9, and this is 9 1/4. So I'm going to take, I think I'd like to make a couple belly bands using these gals. And again, I'm going to have to back them with something because even though they're on a little heavier paper, they are going to still be a little flimsy. So I'm thinking, I want to find a page in here, kind of like her on there. So this is a plain white page here, which I do, actually it's blue, but isn't that funny? It is blue dyed. And I think maybe this might be quite lovely here. Okay. So I'm going to use her, but what I want to do is I want to put her on just a straight piece of paper, and then I'll attach the paper to here for a slide belly band. If you wanted to put her on something a little heavier, you could glue her on, which we may do with this one here. But because this is so plain, I'd like to put her on a nice strip of paper that would match this for a belly band. So let me grab some paper and we'll choose what we'd like to put on this side to complement that. So I found this piece of paper here and I absolutely love it. I hate to cut it because it's a piece I'd love to use in my scrapbooking. But there are a couple more sheets in the paper pad, and I think that goes quite lovely with the green, the blues. We've got some white cream in there. So I'm going to cut this down, and this is going to be just really, really easy. Very simple. So this is about 8 1/4. Okay. And so let's get that cut down to 8 1/4. Put that there so I don't lose my page. All right. So I want to go this way with it. So there's 8 1/4. Okay. Yeah, that'll be fine. All right. Then what I want to do is I want to decide, well, she's going to be, let's just look here. This journal is so chunky. Chunky, chunky, chunky. It was one of the first journals I made. And of course, I put too many signatures in it, but that's how you learn, right? And I'm going to be cutting her down just a little bit. All right. Okay. So that's good like that. And what I want to do, whoops, my pillow behind my back. Looks short, doesn't it? That looks short, but it's not. Okay. So what I'm going to do, because I want to double this up, I want to make it a little bit thicker. So I'm going to fold, this side in, all right? And then let me cut this down here. And I'm going to just kind of put her, this is how I measure. I kind of do it the cheaty way. I'm just going to cut this here like this. And she's going to go on here like this. And this will be the width of my belly band, okay? All right, so that's good. Now, I'm just wondering if maybe I might want to run a few stitches on here to kind of make her pop and accent her, which I think I will. I'm not going to run it. You'll see what I'm going to do. I'm not going to run it all the way down. So let me do that. There, I have it stitched. And what I'm going to do, what I normally do, is I'm going to pull these threads through from the other side because I don't want all these threads hanging. I want it to be a little neater and crisper. Okay, and I will just tie these off. I apologized in my in one of my videos for not speeding up and knowing, you know, how to do that. And I've had some gals say to me, please don't speed up your videos because we like to see how you actually do certain things. So that made me feel better. I like that kind of feedback. So I know that I'm not boring you all with some of these little detailed things I work on. And typically, you know, like when I cut the gals out here, I'll just pause and do it. Sometimes I like to do things ahead of time, but then I think, well, then you can't really see how it all started. So and the other thing I'll show you on this one, I'm not going to do it on this one because I'm going to be sliding things in and out. But if you were just to, per se, put this on, if you weren't going to have any stitching or whatever, you could run tape over these. Say if you were just going to make a pocket, you could put tape on them to hold them in place. But I'm afraid if I put tape on these, whatever I'm sliding through might get stuck on the tape. And I don't want that to happen. So I'm tying all of these off. And as you can see, it really doesn't take that long to do it. And then I will run a little bead of glue along here to hold this down. And then when I put this in for the belly band, I'll make sure that this edge, it's going in this way and it won't catch, even though I've glued it down. All right. So see, just that little tiny bit of stitching on there makes her pop a little bit. And then I also have some little pieces of ephemera over here that I'm trying to use up. So maybe I can put, that's not going to work. These teacups are cute, but they're too big. Maybe just a flower or something behind her. Some of these I can see where I can use in my crossword puzzle. And again, because it's a belly band, you can have some things sticking out of the side. Don't like that. Let's see what some of the other little things I have here. This is going to be, this would be too big. And that blends in too much, but that would be pretty with the flowers across. This is kind of fun. Don't like that. Don't like that. Maybe I could just put, do I have another one of those? Really like to use a flower though. That blends in too much. Need something like this, like a pink. Maybe I could just put that there. Maybe one there like that. Do I have another one I could balance it and put on the other side? Not like that. I have this one here. I wish I had another one like that. These I like. I'm going to be bound and determined to use these. That. And then I could put this one. Down here like that. That's kind of fun. Let's do that. It adds a little bit more color. And I'm going to keep her on there. Get this glued down a little bit. Like that there. And that one will go there. All right, so let's bring the book over and see if we're going to hit the mark here. So this will go in like this, main camera, and then we're going to put her, and I don't care if her head is sticking up just a little bit. So I think this will be good like this. So I'm going to get the belly band. I guess I'll get this. I'll get her down right here like that, okay? All right, we're going to put her right there like that. I know I measure weird and I do things, I guess maybe a little backwards from what you might, how you might sort it all out, but that's just how I do it. Let's get her. Let's get her down here. All right, then we are going to cut, we'll cut her feet. Okay, so see, that's not bad. If you have to cut a foot or leg off, it really isn't, you're not gonna notice it that much, okay? Okay. All right, now we can get this belly band in the book. And actually, I'm going to put it over, well, I guess I'll put it right here, and it'll act more just like a little tuck. I still can't believe that's blue, but it is. It is blue. And I'm just going to bring this up a little bit because we have the blue on the bottom. Okay. And then I'm just going to add some clips to this and let it dry. Top and the bottom here. I never get tired of using these vintage pattern images. I never, ever, ever get tired of it because I just think that they're so cute. And I think that goes really pretty with that page right there. So I'm going to let this dry, okay? All right. So the next thing we're going to do really quick. So we've used the 5x7, the small ones. That was the 8x10. And I'm going to step away from the camera. And I'm going to cut these two lovelies out. And we're going to use these. We're going to do we'll do a crossword puzzle, weekly crossword puzzle challenge with these two gals. So let me get these gals cut out and I'll be right back. All right, so I have them cut out. We'll move on and do our crossword. I'm not going to bother I'll put my paper on afterwards, okay? But I'm going to get this side done because it's a little bit longer video and I wanted to use these gals. So the other thing I wanted to mention is if you've started, I did the Queen for a Day and then I flipped it and I used another page, which was silly of me. I just found this. So don't tear your page out if you have a book. You can always cover it up, and that's what I'm going to do here. So here are my two large, long-legged ladies, and I'm going to be covering all of this up using them. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get her in place here. Now, she's got to come down a little bit. She's got her head too far in the sky. So we're going to move her right about here. I can move her right about here. Okay. Because I have my saying all set and ready to go. So I'm just going to add a little tiny bit. I'm going to add a little dab to her after. I know this glue. This gal is going to be right in front of her like this. Is this how I had it? And I want her up some. This is the other thing. Sometimes, I'm going to move her over. Sometimes I get these down and I think it looks okay. I'm going to put her down. I'm going to little dab here. I get them down and then it's like, oh dear, is that where I wanted it? You can see I'm counting because that's where my words are going to go. And I'm going to move her just a little bit like this, okay? Because I think I had more of her leg showing here. All right, so let's get this cut off right down around here. I can always trim her again, but I just kind of need to know where I'm going with this. I won't glue her. I don't think I don't know. I don't remember if I have anything. And if you cut your original pieces, make sure there isn't something on the back that you would like to scan and use. I really would have liked to have used the back side of these gals, and I didn't even think about scanning them so I could use them down the road. All right, this I know I'm going to cut right about here, okay? Those legs can always be part of another collage, so don't throw that kind of stuff away. And I will cut around her a little bit. You'll notice on these I left a little bit more of a border because these are so fragile. I didn't want to get and then she's going to go right up here, like, and I'll end up cutting her on the bottom as well. Square everything up. Okay. Okay, so see, I have all those words covered up, so that was good. I didn't waste a page. All right. And I'm going to glue this down. Make sure these don't rip and tear, because these do rip and tear so easily. They're very fragile. Okay, so there we have our gals. This is going to be a fairly easy one. And of course, I glued her head right down. I have a little flower going underneath this. So we're going to get this. Let me get that down under there first. Just add a little bit there. And then I have this pretty little flower here that I want to add to this right over around here, okay? And I think I'll just add just a little dabble of ink. Just so maybe it stands out a little bit. I'm not going to do the leaves. So I hope everybody is joining in with this crossword challenge, because I think it's just a lovely way to use your scraps and it gets you thinking about the picture that you are putting together. Then I have this fun little vintage Dayton Yellow Cab Company ticket. And again, your collages do not need to be fancy schmancy. You don't need to use a lot. Okay, that's going to go right there like that. And then I have this little, I have another little side tab I'm going to add. We'll add our word or words for this one. And we're going to put this one right here, okay? And then down the road on this one, I can either add a date or I could add a little something. Okay. And that is it. That is it for this week's puzzle collage as well. And what I came up with for my crosswords is this. Because these two, I don't know if they're best friends, I don't know if they're sisters, but they look pretty close. They both have very pretty outfits on. They appear to enjoy the same things. So I don't know if they've been to lunch. I don't know if they've been out shopping. And then, so this week is Special Times, SPECIAL TIMES. That's it. So when I put my paper on this side over here, you can see, like here, I put these on here. Whatever I do or whoever I do it with, I will be able to write about special times we had. So that is how I have used the different vintage style pattern gals. Okay. These are the original size, because I know Pam had inquired. So these are the original size, and they work just lovely. You can cut them right down to make them fit your page. This is from the 5x7. So this will be a nice little journaling card for my book. And then we did on this page here, I think I can take these off now. We did a pretty little belly band using a smaller image from an 8x10 piece of paper. So that is it for this week. It's kind of bulky here, isn't it? I'll move that out of the way. And I will just remind you that if you enjoyed this video, to give me a thumbs up. If you're new to my channel, I'd love to have you subscribe. And for all those that return and leave your wonderful, very kind comments each time you watch, I appreciate you all. So thank you. And I really hope that this has been a big help, not only to you, Pam, but to everyone else that has been watching. And I will see you in my next video. All right, everybody, have a great week. Bye-bye.